Good evening, people. How are you all? Hope you're well. Wow, I've literally just kind of tumbled in out the car, been out on the road past 2 days. My head's spinning. Wow, it's just insane, intense. But yeah, nice couple of days out, to be fair. Been with visit up to the guys at Sunnybank Koi, see their new shop on the high street. So impressed with that. Absolute top ballsy move there, to be fair. Never seen a koi shop on a high street before, and done an amazing job of it as well. So mega hats off to them guys. And obviously it's not done yet. It's not been there long. There's so much more to come from it as well. So really exciting stuff, that one, what them guys have got going on. Then on the road today, down to see a VIP client I've got, which unfortunately I really wish I could share more on that one with you, because that's some insane stuff down there. And then big stop off at Perfect Aquatics, which again, having a look at the changes there since Crafty's been there. In all fairness, phenomenal development and just huge changes going on. They're building a fancy crazy golf course. I mean, it just gets crazier. It's bonkers, but yeah, what a thing there. Koi and crazy golf, and a nice bacon butty to go with it. So hats off. Nice to see it all happening. It's good for the industry to have these stuff, and nice destinations being created for them Koi days out as well, which is really good, to be fair. So happy days. I'm not super prepared this evening because I just have been chaotic, like I say, out and about a lot. But yeah, feel free to start firing in any questions. Mr. Hadfield is waiting backstage to come in, which we'll see how that goes. Not had a catch up with Lee since Japan, to be fair. So see how we're going on. And other than that, I have got a couple of Koi appreciation bits to share in a little bit with you as well. But yeah, other than that, I hope you're enjoying the content that's been dropping. We've managed to work through a few more of the Nishigoi journal videos that I've got. It's been amazing for me reliving some of that, to be fair, and seeing it. So if you haven't already, there's a nice one burning where Arthur's card grabbing skills got me a few fish, to be fair. So yeah, amazing. There we go. So let's get Lee in and see how Lee's doing. But don't forget your questions, folks. Feel free to blast them in. How are we doing, buddy?
Hiya, mate.
Long time no speak.
Oh, it's only been a month, isn't it? Something like that. Do you want me to turn my camera on the side, or are we okay like that with the black border?
It's up to you, mate.
Oh, it's edgy. Leave it there then.
There we go. That's looking nice in background, nice and cozy.
Mate, it's Christmas. It's Christmas every day in the Hadfield residence. Well, look, so just to prove it.
Oh, mate.
This is from the archives from last year.
Is that the first time they've been shown? Because there's going to be serious demand for them now. Can I get some licensing rights on them or something?
Oh, there's a new one in the pipeline. Let's see if I can get enough energy just to draw something up. We'll see.
I love it. You put me to shame with all that stuff. I just never seem to get it done. But happy days, mate.
Why has he got his Christmas decorations?
Oh wow, yeah, she's
oh my, you haven't got your decorations up yet. That's shocking. Ricky, family first, my friend.
I'm going to have to move this back to the office here because I can't keep being shamed like this. It's shocking. Got ready again, look, bitch.
Mate, even the Koi pump house has got a Christmas tree in it.
Oh, nice, mate, nice.
Well, you can't leave the fish out, can you?
So, how's things your end, mate? You've had the Japan withdrawals yet?
Well, a little bit. Done. Oh, mate, what a trip. Like, I'm just so lucky to be able to sort of get on the train with Ricky and Mr. Nishnagoi, with Atsushi and Misha. Just just wake up in the morning, go to Starbucks. Get in the car, and we're going where we're going. So it's just, you can't pay for that. You've got to be invited for that kind of treatment, and if you could pay for that, probably be quite expensive, Yeah. So I'm super lucky. Towards the end of the trip, was getting a little bit Groundhog Day, going to the same, you know, the Heroi brothers and all that kind of stuff. But I understand what Ryan's doing. You've got to get it. They're harvesting all the time. You've got to get there.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting game when you are there and you're following a dealer around and an agent around. It is sneaky. And I love it. It's really quite cool. You know, you're always proactive. There's always concurrent activity. You're always putting the feelers out. It's kind of military spec, to be honest. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and then you've also, I think, experienced how much some of them lie as well. I think at Otsuka you probably encountered that.
Oh, mate. Do you know, when I went to
people up a road, doesn't he? It's like,
mate, he is a bugger, mate. Do you know, Otsuka is like a comical looking fella, isn't he? He's quite short. He's got that really full hairstyle. He always wears those sort of like pastel coloured work trousers and white boots. And he comes in, and in February, I really quite liked him because he was really always upbeat, because there was no real hassle for him there, because February is really quiet, isn't it? You know, and he had loads of time for us. But, you know, a lot of the breeders you see in the height, the peak of their busy period, you know, they get stressed, really stressed, like all of us do, I'm sure, in everyday work in life. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's anyone that's not got that much stress going on, but these guys, and when you're getting these out, oh yeah, tomorrow, and then you'll get there tomorrow at like 1 o'clock, and there's everyone already there picking, and you're like, oh, sneaky, you know.
It's insane, isn't it?
That's great. I love it.
Absolutely insane. He's still, you know, one of the only farms I can actually recall. He doesn't do any Azakari fish for customers.
Well,
won't eat fish at the. He really is quite strict. But I've seen that two sides of him. At times, you think he's dead prickly, but when he's chilled, he's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I must say, probably Heroi and Otsuka, we probably visited the most day by day, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, which didn't come across on my videos because, you know, I take snippets of the videos to do 45 minutes or an hour. But in reality, sometimes we'd go there 4 or 5 times a day just to try to sniff around to see what's coming out. And the quality of his fish, though, are sublime, aren't they? You know, you know, Akamatsubas, you know.
It's what he does, such difficult stuff as well. And to do it the level he does it at, he's a serious dude, he is.
Very, very, very talented at what he does, to be honest, you know.
Yeah, amazing. What was the highlight for you then, Lee?
What, in Japan? The whole lot?
Other than spending a day with me, obviously.
Well, yeah, the day after, my ring was a bit sore. But I think the highlight of my day, my trip was...
Just need to clarify, in case anybody hasn't seen that, it was because of curry sauce and nothing else.
Oh, that's all. Yeah, there was nothing funny going on in any kind of koi house. Yeah, we had a curry off. Yeah. But to be honest, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, like when they had from the 1 to 20 and we went, oh, let's just go 15. Yeah. I was expecting that to be...
I think the issue is if we'd been back for another spoonful and then a third, I think that's when we'd have.
Oh yeah, that would build up, and that would zenith in something tragic the next morning.
A couple of minutes after that first spoonful, I couldn't feel my lips.
Yeah, it took a while to get in there, didn't it? I suppose, but yeah, you could definitely feel. But it looked like tar, to be honest, didn't it? Actually, do you know what it looked like? Yeah. It looked like what's left in an Awaz drum around that little bit that you can't get rid of. And it even smelt like it. It was that colour. But the highlight of my trip, I can't put my finger on one. You know, we had such a good time. I'll be honest with you. Your brother is an amazing guy. At Sushi and Misha, amazing people. I spent a little bit of time with Evo, which was absolutely delightful. Like Evo is, me and Evo get on so well because we're so similar-minded. Possibly because I'm an ex-soldier and he's an ex-policeman. I'm slightly older than him, but I've got probably a mental age that's slightly younger than him. So we get on really well. And so, I don't know, like what. Okay, let's think about this. So when I went to Yamaguchi and I seen my fish come out the Kawaku, I was blown away because the day before, old Yama said, you can't really come to film on the harvest because we've got clients' fish, which I understand.
Yeah.
But then at sushi, had a phone call the day before, and he goes, "Yeah, Lee's fish is the best one to come out of the mud pond." And I was like buzzing, but I thought they were just winding me up. And then we went to see it the next day, and it truly is a weapon. Like, for what I paid for that fish last year as a jumbo tozai, with obviously the Azakari fees dropped in, and it's a gamble, isn't it? You know, look at my Takano fish, that didn't come out. So now I realize that it actually is a gamble. And that came out, and it's phenomenal. Like I said, it's in your facility now. You've probably seen it. So I'm waiting for it to get QT'd, one of your brothers, which is next to yours. And I'm looking forward to coming to get it.
Yeah, I've seen it. It does look well, mate. You landed on your feet with that one again.
Well, yeah, you know, it's pattern-wise, it's chalk or cheese, Marmite, but body-wise, it's got a really powerful body. You know, obviously, you know, it's a nice body. That's the bodies I like. That cigar-shaped body, I think, is really quite pleasant. And female, happy days.
Yeah,
you know, I'm blown away with that. So that was a really, really pleasurable time for me. And also I got on really well with Yamaguchi. I mean, he's kind of like a really cool guy. He speaks better English than he makes out for a start. Right. And obviously Kobayashi, Yamaguchi, and all of us went for a bit of a meal. Dude,
Kobayashi's a boy, isn't he?
Oh, dude, mate, absolute. I showed him my anal fin. You know what it is. And he nearly spat his rice out the window. He loved it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, they're a good laugh, mate, aren't they? They really are. They're just, they enjoy life. They really do.
They're great. They're great. But they do graft. Fair dues.
Happy days. So, any plans to go back, mate?
Oh, mate, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, but no, I can. I've had a few offers put on the table already. You know, obviously, I want to go back with your brother in February. I really get on with your brother really well. Like, we're kind of like really quite, you know, we sleep with each other, you know, not every night, but every other night. Because I said if we do it every night, we will just get married. So, no, but we do get on really well together. Yeah, it's a really pleasurable experience to go with Ryan, to be honest. And he's such an inspiring person to be with. He certainly knows what he's looking for. He's opened my eyes so much into what to look for, to quarantine exactly what you want in a bowl of fish when you've netted them out. I've learned more from that guy than probably Sergeant Major Chris Reese from Free Para. Do you know what I mean? I'm only joking. Sorry if you're watching this, Sergeant Reese. But yeah, he's a great mentor. He's a great guy. I love him to pieces. Not very good at drinking though. But apart from that, he's a great guy.
Don't even get me started on them ones. Should we share some Ryan stories? That'll be a giggle. I wonder if he's watching.
Well, I'm sworn to secrecy. I can't.
Oh, his first time. I knew this. The first time he was with me, I think it was some pretty serious stuff, and I weren't getting too involved because I know what's coming. And it was a game where you end up shooting quite a large glass of whiskey. Should you drop an ice cube? And he seemed to drop every ice cube. And this was years and years and years ago, and can't seem to handle the drink.
Well,
big bro was on watch out duty under strict instructions from mum and dad, especially mum.
So
it was a while ago.
I've witnessed that game. He did try to play it this time and failed miserably. He blamed the rest of the trip probably on COVID, but it was a hangover that probably lasts for about 3 weeks.
Brilliant. That's good stuff, mate. So how's all your pond and everything been?
I was just talking to Steve before you come on, and not to sound too confident, touch wood. Yeah, it's going really good. Like no issues when I went to Japan. obviously give my sisters. So it's totally automated, apart from filling up the auto feeder and whacking a bit of bicarb in, because we're quite soft here. But my sister done a great job. And yeah, I came back, and I actually, when I came back, obviously I cleaned the window, done a bit of maintenance, obviously, because it was a bit green after about 3 weeks. Cleaned the window. The auto feeder, I've got the JBL Pro. So I'm using probably, at the time I went, probably about 1 kilo a day-ish. So I know they'd have so much, and then they'd have maybe a week off the food, which I thought it's not a bad thing. Give them a bit of a clean out. Do you know what I mean? Sanitize the water. I used my judgment then. I thought, yeah, that'd be cool.
Can I just pause you, Lee? And yeah, thanks guys for updating me on the score. I knew nothing about. I forgot to actually put that one out there before we started.
Is Manchester United playing?
Yeah. It's sat on record waiting for me.
Oh no. That Koi guy has just destroyed it for you.
Damn you guys. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Lee. Carry on.
Is it still on the go, is it?
Yeah.
Or is it 3-3?
Apparently so. I should just end the show now and go and sit and watch the last bit of it.
Oh, bless. Well, just start playing with those ice cubes and get drunk yourself.
Go on, mate. Carry on. Sorry.
But yeah, the pond's running great. I came back, cleaned the window. I looked at all my fish, actually. I got 22 fish left. I've offloaded a few, which was quite hard to me. But Alan Tate and your brother was like, you've got to be brutal here. And I'm like, oh, God, this does feel brutal, getting rid of a lot of fish that I've really loved for quite a few, long time. So I offloaded a few.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's horrible. To really nice people, to be honest, to some of my subscribers, to like some of my friends. And so I know they're going to really good homes. I know I'm going to be able to see them blossom anyway. So it's almost like having an extension of a family. Do you know what I mean? Seeing all these fish grow. Yeah. But I came back and I looked at my pond. I sat down for about 20 minutes. I looked at all my fish, with the tens of thousands of fish that passed through my eyes when I was in Japan for 3 weeks, right? I looked at all of these fish and I was like that, there's 1 or 2 in there that I would have actively bid on and hunted. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah.
But every one in there, I was secure in the feeling, thinking to myself that I would have definitely fished out every one from a pond and put them into a bowl, right? Yeah. And I'm happy with every one of my fish, and I'm so happy with them still, right? Yeah. I came back, the volume seemed better because I've reduced the amount of fish in there, up the feed, and it's just. At the moment, koi keeping for me is a happy place because there's no problems. Touch wood, there's no problems. And that's very rare to say for an expanse of 6 to 12 months when you've got no problems and everything's fine, no split fins, no raised scales, and everything's feeding good. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at the moment with the pond.
Yeah, mate, let's face it, if I'm seeing what you do, you're not faffing with everything too much, are you?
Not now, no. I did.
I know you're tinkering and bits and bobs, but ultimately, then you get a good system running and let it do its thing. Feed them well, keep your temperature nice, and happy days.
That's one thing. The pond does cost a couple of quid to run, but it is what it is.
A magical thing, and that's why I feel sorry for the guys who aren't heated, guys and girls who aren't heated, because that's when koi keeping does get challenging. And that's even to the levels of us guys, the unheated ponds we've got through spring and winter, they present challenges. They really, really do present challenges. And it's just, it's tough, really tough.
Yeah. So I'm quite lucky there now that that's running good. And I don't foresee many problems coming into the new year.
Evening, Mother.
For the fact, I've got to thank your mum.
She's tuned in late for the Ryan stories.
Oh, she's missed it. I sent your mum a lovely picture of your brother from. I took a picture of him with a little Japanese hat on at I can't remember now. One of the koi houses, and I said, I've got to send this to your mum. And he goes, yeah, go on then. But I've got to say thanks to her as well, because she folded up all my T-shirts at the Tucano event, bless her.
Oh,
She's a good girl.
There you
Your
go.
father is a lucky man. And he's punching, by the way. I don't know how the hell he got here. He must have been something. He must have been a good dancer back in the day.
He does like punching, mate, so be careful what you say.
Mate, we'll match. I'm sure one time we'll have a nice little rummage on the garden outside your bloody koi houses at some point.
Brilliant. No, it sounds good, mate. I'm glad you're in that place with it. So yeah, happy days. Oh, there we go. You started something now, Lee.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah. He is a good. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I'm going to stop there now. We don't talk about mums.
Magic. I suppose I'll get on a bit of appreciation, because this is one that was pretty closely related to you, buddy, to be fair. And I've got an actual picture. Probably everyone might have seen the Tucano Sankey I released earlier this year. And what we got there, Ponzanita installation board up for tape. Yeah, it's a pain in the arse, Craig. It really is. But you know, they'll tolerate it. It's just not. It doesn't make koi keeping fun. You know, it's the climate in the UK does present a lot of issues and instability. That's when I always just analogize it like this. You know, their immune response at its peak at 25 degrees. So every degree below that is moving away from their optimal immune response. And it just mathematics there tells you the further away you get, the tougher life's generally going to be in regards to them looking after themselves. So it's a challenge. But yeah, do you remember this one, Lee?
Okay, well, yeah, my eye is not sort of like, I can't remember a koi from about a year ago, but it's absolutely a nice example of one. Talk to me. Was that from the Tucano event?
Have you not seen the before and after?
I'm not sure.
Oh boy, here we go. So yeah, this was the one that ended up winning Grand Champion.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, from the Tucano event. Yes, of course. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't remember it as much as mine, but yes, it is.
I mean, it was always a real standout piece. Apparently, I've been told by some of the guys that follow, it was actually 5th or 6th to get picked. Don't know if that is correct, but for me, this was always a mega standout fish. And after winning the Grand Champion, the guy asked Chris if I'd be prepared to grow it on. And given the caliber it was at, said absolutely. Obviously, he's paid me a fee for doing it, and it's been growing with my top pond really with the Dainichi fish and bits and bobs this year. And it was harvested just last week, I think, or a couple of weeks ago. Been conditioning up since then, and it is currently 49 cm. It looks like that.
That's very nice, isn't it?
Absolutely bonkers. What a fish. And I've got it today because there's an interesting point on this that someone mentioned. Asked me a question at Sunnybank Koi yesterday, actually, while I was there. And there's a side-by-side on that one.
Yeah, that's great.
Picture cleaned up. Amazing transformation. When I've mentioned in the past about Sumi tightening, yeah, it does look, I'll give it, it looks messy on that first one. Messy, unrefined. A little bit. Look how it's tightening now, and even just look at the little things. How the volume of the head has changed, how the benny pattern sits and looks on the head. Now it's got a wider surface to sit on.
Look at the head. The cheeks are filled out and given that head that nice round look.
Jason's
all the way through.
In. Unfortunately, not, buddy. I'm going to let you take this one and run now, but and enjoy it, mate. But over the moon. I think it's just a phenomenal fish, and obviously from old Uncle Tucano, mate, he'd done it again. Yeah,
he's a good old boy, Tucano.
I can't remember the sizes, but I think it was like 24 cm back on that picture. So up to 49 on there. But the picture I want to throw in. So when I was at Sunnybank, the guy asked me, it was something, I can't remember. It was something about the conditioning or the phases when koi go a bit yellowish and getting that out. Now it's a very well-known and simple growing process that when a koi looks like that, as it does before it started intensively growing on the left. Evening number koi, how you doing? that's that fresh toast-eye look. Now, the typical growing is they're going to be up in temperature, fed a high growth, high protein, high fat food and colour food, typically, which all has an impact on the Shiroji in a big way. And it's just a process as well that the skin's not got a lot of thickness at that age. It's pretty translucent, so it's even easier to kind of tint it up. So the picture in between all this is this one here. So you can see there already, that is how I typically expect to see a jumbo toast-eye. And the point of the conversation was, I think there's an expectation sometimes, even when people are raising fish, if you're doing it intensively, for them to kind of look at show standard while they're being raised. And that can't be the expectation, because you're going to be compromising on what the main thing is of that raising season, which is to raise the fish. In my mind, a raising season, especially with something that's got Benny, is we grow the fish, we get maximum body, maximum length, and keep the Benny in the best condition possible, because we're growing it hard and we're stretching it, you know. And that's hence why the colour food mix and everything's so vital. Good UV penetration through. But for a toast-eye, it's perfectly normal to get that really creamy sort of yellow head there, and that creamy sort of more yellowy tint in the Shiroji. And to be fair, it did throughout the growing season naturally become better, even though it's been on the same diet. But then, as I say, it's been 2-3 weeks since it's been stripped off, and we've gone from that to that level of Shiroji. All fixable stuff, but the expectation of them looking like this during a good growing season is completely unrealistic, because if you are trying to do that, you're going to be compromising on something for sure. Very few fish. Some will keep looking like that, but it's a bit of a rare trait in fish, and that's when you see us typically, if they're in that environment and they're really still showing exceptional Shiroji, you know it's a high level of skin. But typically, I'd say you're compromising on something when you're pushing hard. So yeah, to go through there again, look, so we started there. We got to jumbo toast-eye phase, and this is actually the phase at which it was photographed just before the return part of the event when it won, and then we end there at the 49 cm. Delightful.
Very nice.
So yeah, that's that process, and I'm happy with that. 49 cm. A lot of Tucanos, Nisai were actually only coming out 48, 49 this year out at Mud Ponds. So yeah, personally, I'm really happy with that. Yeah,
it's a banging result.
It is, and all that from that event. And yeah, we'd love to see. I certainly would love to see any of you guys who's taken back them pictures of any development and growth you've had them in them as well. To be fair,
well, I had mine out last week. So when I had a couple of guys come down that wanted to view the pond from Bristol. So because they travel so far.
Sorry, Lee, let me just stop you, because that question, I didn't get that level in a few weeks. Like I said, it was already improving as the fish was getting bigger and the skin was thickening. But then obviously, ultimately, it wasn't at the standard you see it on the pictures. That few weeks, just dropping the temperature out, withdrawing it from those diets, which will tint the skin, and it naturally comes up. Sorry, buddy, carry on.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, my Tucano event, Koi, is banging now. Do you know what I mean? Like in the pond, it's not really the standout fish through the window, because my pond, the way it's constructed, obviously, it's got a 3-meter window. You mostly look at the Koi through the window. But when I have a glass of wine in the evening and sit on my drum and look down on them, it's a totally different kettle of fish then. Oh, literally. That was a quite good expression. But I had a couple of guys come down from Bristol. And I'm so far down, I thought, oh, do you know what? Yeah, okay, we'll net some and we'll measure some just for the end of the season for my own sort of like archives more than anything. So I took out the Tucano fish, and in the bowl, the body is fantastic. I can't remember what size it is. If people go back on the last video, I think they'll see it, but I'm sure mine was 46, 47 cm maybe. But the volume of the fish is superb. Like, again, an amazing body on it. And just the skin quality, everything about a Tucano koi is really quite special, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, the guy is bonkers.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Funny enough, I watched your video yesterday. Not the one today. I think you put one up today, but the Tucano one
on Sunday. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, Sunday.
And I think you went to the Tucano ponds the day after me and your brother, right? Because we netted one, and I thought to myself, oh, my koi's not there, right? So then we netted another pond, and we had to net it twice because of your brother's really crap technique, right? Yeah. And there were still fish missing, but my fish never come out. The one that Tucano offered me on my February trip, right? The one that I picked, which was a female, lovely. Well, what I deemed to be my cup of tea, right? It never came out. So he said, obviously, there's been problems in Japan with like lack of water this year and all that kind of stuff. So he's had to move fish from pond to pond and all that kind of stuff, you know, and stuff like that. But it never came out. So when I seen you going back up the day after and netting a few fish that was left over,
that's
I was
like, you guys missed.
Is that your brother missed, not me? And I was like, is that mine? And I was looking at the boat, I thought, no, it's not mine. But obviously, Tucano then offered me the pick of the 2 ponds again, right? Yeah. So I knew what was the Kashira koi, right? And I thought to myself, I can't be low to pick that one. That's like really bad, isn't it? But I ended up picking a male fish. And the reason I picked that male fish is because it was 50 cm out the pond as Nisai, which is not massive, but it's an average size. The skin was nice. The pattern, the body was really nice, but the pattern was something that really appealed to me. And I'll tell you why it appealed to me, because when I was over in Japan this year, my eyes got opened a little bit, right, by a certain person, just not talking to him, but studying him, how he picked his koi, and like, you know, how he went about what he wanted to select for his shop. Now, this is our old friend Narita, right? So when we were going to all of these events, I was watching, we went to a particular event in Shinoda, right? So went to Shinoda, he had harvested loads of stuff, all his Deutz, Showa, and also like a load of Hirsuri and all of that, what he's really, really renowned for. But obviously his Deutz Showa, his Deutz stuff is amazing anyway, isn't it? Really? It's right at the top end of the game. So everyone's, mate, this event was bigger than Ben-Hur, right? So there was loads of people there. It was really uncomfortable. It was the first time that I ever went to one of these events that I was like, wow, this really isn't that pleasurable, because it's like a meat market, right? So everyone's picking these straws, right? And then Narita picked like 12 out of like 40 people or something like that, right? You know, right down the line. And he's quite cool and collective. He's kneeling over there, like, you know, with his Yeezys on and his little designer kit and all that kind of stuff, not really saying nothing. And everyone's picking out of this pond now, you know, the number 1 pond, right? Yeah. With all the better, apparently, quality fish. Everyone's picks. Comes to him, he gets up and he goes to the other pond, which was the cheaper fish. And he goes, that one. Picks it up. And every time I went to an event and he was there, he would pick the out of the normal. And what he would do is, obviously, the main thing to pick with a fish is obviously body and quality, obviously. Yeah. But his pattern selection, you know, was totally bizarre. And he's a true artist, mate. When he looks at something that's abstract. Yeah. He doesn't pick the norm. He doesn't pick what you think should be the perfect Sankey, the perfect Showa, the perfect Kawaku, or anything like that. He'll pick something that's unusual but works, right? So, and I thought that was amazing. The penny clicked then. Obviously, for this country, when you're going to the BKKS to a show and they've got a clipboard, possibly it wouldn't work. But in Japan, it's all about the feeling. And I know this now. I've seen it. This year, I've spent 4 weeks in Japan, which is quite a good haul for a hobbyist, you know, and I've seen a lot of fish and I've seen a lot of stuff over there. And that really dropped the penny. And I was like, right, okay, cool. Why am I looking for these fish that should be picture perfect for this country? I should find something that's kind of unusual, but still fits in the parameter of the variety of the fish.
Yeah,
as long as it's got the
they've got
body,
those base qualities, but that pattern element is the bit. And I learned this a bit ago. The patterns, just preference in Japan is just all about the feeling, the emotional feeling that fish affects, because everyone's eye there when they're judging, especially at the top 3 shows where it's a lot of breeders judging it. That's their eye subconsciously sees everything and eliminates the poor stuff anyway. So it's just that instant, oh shit, look at that. That's I know it's really, really hard, but obviously that comes from decades and generations of refinement there. But that is just what, it's not having to stand there with a clipboard. It's like their eyes have already discarded everything else, and it's just which one goes, wow. You know,
it was so good. Like I said, going around with your brother was amazing, because he taught me, you know, like stupid things. Like I'll go, he's actually a really good guy. Actually, he'll go, what you reckon, Lee? Which is, you know, which one would you have? Well, that's nice. You know, he goes, now look at the pec fins.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You know, do you know what I mean, mate? He's got something with pec fins, mate. If they ain't good, they don't come in. But you know,
do you know whose fault that is? I feel sorry for it. When I tuned him into that his first time, he has took that to a level I've not seen.
But it's true though, because it's a massive part of the fish, and people don't realise that I think one of the major deformities on a fish, or one of the major things that probably would really, is the pec fins that they stick out like bulldog's bollocks. You're going to see them, and that's a massive part of the fish. It really is. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Took that one to actually to the point where, like, when he tuned into it the last time I was with him, like last October, it's like then every fish that come out is like, fins all right, fins all right, fins all right. I'm like, for fuck's sake, yes, they are.
but it's funny. What was it? Right. So Hiroi, I hope the twins don't watch me, but like, for some reason, Hiroi pec fins are always something that you've got to look out for, and it's true, because I've been around everyone there, all the breeders around Nagaoka and Oji and all that kind of stuff, and if you do get any sort of problem with pec fins, for some reason, it's Hiroi. I don't know whether it's like their breeding process or what's happened. Or
you can get, because you've got to bear in mind the varieties they produce, especially Deutz, are so heavily inbred. An issue with breeding these fish is the level of deformities that you get. There's a target for pecs. But if we're talking about the front ray, this is the big bit. The front ray, when they snap, that just comes down to bad handling a lot of the time.
Yeah.
No matter what point, toe side, knee side, whenever it is, from the netting up process in the pond, how they take them out, you know, that when they're bringing the seine netting is when so much of the damage can be done. This toe side thing, whenever it is, and it's a weird one, because a lot of Asian people do discard it and don't pay that much attention to it, which then creates a problem, because breeders will also ignore it for the same reason, because they know those buyers, which do dominate a lot, unfortunately, won't overlook it, and they'll still proceed with a purchase on a fish with that there. I will say, though, a lot of the show, as the show level creeps up out there, it is something that becomes more important, but you will still see fish there with probably levels of fin damage or deformity that you wouldn't get with outside of Japan.
Yeah.
And that again comes down to a mentality there, I think, of looking at the positives over the negatives first.
That's right.
So, yeah, but you're right, mate. It's fascinating when you get into the world of pec.
It is fascinating, yeah. You know, because, well, you know, yeah, there's a lot of good fish over in Japan.
Yeah. You got to filter them out, mate, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You know, like, it's crazy, because if I hadn't have gone to Japan, if I wanted to fill my pond up with really high grade Nisai or Tozai, let's just say Nisai, I would cruise around all different shops in the UK, you know, exclusively Koi Water Bar, go everywhere, have a shop around, right? Okay. But the amount of fish they've got there is nothing compared to just a morning that you could see in Japan.
Yes.
So for someone to be able to go, let's just say the show scene now, you could be lucky, I think, with with Tozai, you can just buy a batch of Tozai if you know what you're looking for, and hope that you can grow something special out of 50 of them in a grow on, and maybe get something special that you could source from Japan when they are Nisai. It's possible. I know it is, because like I'm sure of it is, right? But if you're really serious about the hobby and you really want to find good fish, you really have to go there, because you'll struggle finding them here. Because people like yourself and other people that go there to find this, even though you're in the business of selling fish for a profit, right? Obviously, because that's how you put bread on the table.
Yeah.
All the best fish, I bet you find very hard to let go, because you want to see how they're progressing. Because I know how you work, you keep things because you're learning from them as well. So that's probably the same as the majority of other dealers. They get I'll have a box from Marisai or something like that, a box of them, and they take them out and they go, ooh, look at that one. Oh, we'll keep that one. See what's like next year. So you don't really get access to them.
I'm going to correct. I don't think that is the case, Lee.
Really?
I think in dealers, because obviously the investment in them, they need to be recouping.
Get turnover.
I wanted to put in the next lot. I'm farming fish. It's a bit different in that respect. And yeah, I do keep too many, but there's a lot to that. I've got that breeder mentality wedged in my head a little bit too much. And half of the time it's the enjoyment of wanting to see something with potential through to fruition. And yeah, sometimes it's waiting. Some fish you just can't put out too soon because they won't be understood or appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, and there's elements of that to it as well. But yeah, I think with the dealers, I think you probably see more out like the difficulty of the job Ryan's actually got.
Yeah,
in finding stuff, because I think at times there's no exposure to what's going on out there, so it's quite easy. It's quite easy to just say, and we'll talk about higher budgets here because this is where it seems to be with Japan stuff. Yeah, Terry, it's they do, but yeah, it's like $2,000 for a shower. Find me something, and you think, yeah, but then it's the list of requirements that come with it. And then it can be that he sees that fish, and then you've got the the front ray of the pec fins all snapped up. It's the one. It's no good even presenting it because it's not going to work.
And do you know what? Talking about, you were just saying the hard job that your brother's got over there, right? And I seen it. So me and your brother, we've got like no secrets. I've told him I've kissed a guy before, and he's told me he's kissed a guy before. I'm only joking, right? But what I'm saying is, when we're over there, when he's doing business financially, I'm not too shabby with the yen now. I kind of know how to convert things. I know how much the shipping is now. I know how much the taxes is now. So I know now, because I spent a month there, how much a fish would be kind of landed.
Yeah.
Within a couple of percent, right? And I find it interesting. For me, it's interesting, And I can tell you one thing now: the wish lists that some people pass on to your brother would never be granted. It's impossible, right? And with these, because on my videos, I had lots and lots of people commenting saying, "Oh, we'd like to know the pricing system." Because they feel, I think a lot of people feel like they're being ripped off with the fish they buy in this country, but they're really not. They're absolutely not. I know for a fact they're not, right? Because what happens is, especially your brother. So I've not been with anyone else. I've just been with your brother, and your brother doesn't skimp on quality. He really doesn't, right? If the quality is not there, he won't buy them. He won't. He'll just go,
I know all about
they're
it.
not for me. Has he got anything better? Do you know what I mean? And that's it, right? Like he went to Shinoda, bought a load of like Deutz showers from Shinoda and all that kind of stuff. And on that event, he wasn't happy because he didn't like the quality in that pond, right? And he didn't like the picking out of things. And he took Shinoda to the side and he goes, I tell you what, put a VAT, make a VAT for me. He goes, I want this many fish. He goes, I'll pay more. I'll come tomorrow, see what you've put in there for me. Do you know what I mean? And he's picked from that. And that's your brother's mindset, right? He wants to be probably the best. Well, I know he wants to be the best distributor of Japanese koi in the UK. And I think he's getting there because of his mindset, right? And what he does is they're all hand selected. They ain't boxes of stuff. They're all hand selected. I've seen it, right? But everyone was under this. They were all texting me saying, oh, how much is that going to be? I said, I don't know. It's what the dealer wants to sell it for, then the shipping, then the tax, and then 20% for his brother. And that's it. That's all that your brother makes is 20% on stuff, and that's it. And then the rest of it depends on how big the koi is, how many kois in a box, and what the shipping rates are. And that's it. You know, he's not, I've seen it. There's no blindfold, or there's no sort of like anything pulled over anyone's eyes. That's exactly it. And some of the stuff I've seen, and I go, oh, how much has that landed? And he'll go, and I'll go, oh, yeah, that's amazing. You know, but like, you know, you make such a little amount of money realistically on each fish, but then you've got the flights, you've got the accommodation, you've got keeping yourself in Japan, you know what I mean? And then you've also got to make a little bit of a profit. That's a lot of outlay for someone like your brother to go and source dream koi for people, you know?
It really is.
I think it is. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's. I think he does what he does really well, to be honest. You know, but unfortunately, every wish list can't be filled because some of them, again, it's just they're not there. Like, you know,
I take me off to him because I got to the point I refused to do it.
Yeah, you know, and it's head work for him.
I won't spend the time because it's just so hard. So it's like for me as well. I won't come. It's the same thing, you know. If I go and the fish, if there's good fish, I buy them. That's them, and then we send them out, and that's it. You can be chasing around all over, and there's also a thing you got to be careful with breeders. You know, you can't just be lifting stuff up, offering it out. That time of year, you can get narky, and you can quickly piss them off.
Yeah, I've witnessed that. Yeah,
it's a challenge. So I think I know answer to this one, Lee, and I'm not going to be offended, mate. We've just got shit stirrers in the audience tonight. It's shocking, folks.
I don't know.
I'm not offended, mate. I know you love the boy.
I do like Ryan. I'm not gonna lie. But if Ricky was a better drinker, maybe I'd go with him next time.
Good answer.
I'm only joking, Ryan.
Right, so I was just pointed out, mate. I've been not really done many questions because I had a feeling it'd be like this, having a good old natter. But it is nice. I think it's nice for you to give that hobbyist perspective so clearly and openly as you do on that whole Japan thing as well. But that's just my bit there. I think it does highlight then. It does help show, you know, the kind of job on the dealers have got getting the stuff that they do as well. And just the whole process. And honestly, the more and more you see into it and all, it's like when it gets to the world of Tosai, it's just a dogfight. I've got to be so I've got to be so quick to the mark on stuff, and you've got, you know, breeders who all of a sudden, you know, at your visit, you know, and probably see them all happy and chip with the absolute prima donnas, a lot of them. And it's,
they've all got their own character. But you know what? This is one thing I'll definitely say, that if you build up a really good relationship with them, and they've all got that weird, naughty sense of humor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They all sort of took to me a little bit. And I think if you can build up that funny little kind of rapport with them, I'm not saying they'll give them to you cheaper, but I'm sure they'll probably go, Otsuka will probably go, oh, come at 11, not 1 tomorrow, and you can have a little sniff around. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's no scrimping in the price, but I'm sure they'll relay a favor for a little bit more personality on someone. I'm sure of it, you know.
Agreed, mate. I've seen that with them. Right, Jason, I'm not sure where this is aimed at, and I'm not sure it's one I'm going to answer, to be fair, because I know the wife's watching. What is the most you have paid for a single koi in your entire career, and was it the best fish you have ever bought? I'm just trying to think back to this now. I'm not going to get into the pricing of it, but I do have. Dearest fish I bought is a Kohaku I've currently got at Dainichi Toyota. And to be fair, time will tell whether it's the best fish I've ever bought, in all fairness. It's not one really for the now. I'll probably tell you the one if it manages to keep it alive and it gets to 90 cm, which I'm expecting. Then I'll answer that question. But yeah, curious one.
Now, you could have been honest if you would have put up the wife's Christmas tree. She would have been so happy. She would have taken that on the chin.
Oh God, I've got to be careful now, mate. I should probably stood behind the door listening as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but it does often work out that it might not be the most expensive fish you bought. You know, in that scenario, it's buying at Dainichi, so you know there's always a premium, real premium on that stuff. To be fair, but yeah, I'm trying to think best fish wise. It might even turn out one of the ones at the minute, it's one of the fish I'm enjoying the most, and I'm talking stuff here I've not actually sold to date or clients fish. Marusho Sankey I've got kicking around at my place. And it might be, I shared a little video the other day. I think she's up to about 77, 78 cm now, and an absolute battleship. Just prime NND Marusho characteristics. And having watched that fish when I got it at Nisai through to now and how it's coming on, and I think how it's going to end up, could possibly take that spot, to be fair. And that wasn't an insanely priced fish, not compared to this Dainichi Kwaku anyway. What about you, Lee? Got anything to add to that? Is the wife watching?
Nah, mate, then my wife never watches this. And all my fish are all over about 50 quid. No, mate, I've never really spent that much on a fish. I've been given an expensive fish, well, in my eyes, but not really. I think the most I've ever spent on a fish landed is £3,500, which it is a lot of money. That's a lot of money for anyone. Do you know what I mean? That's a really nice month's wages. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I don't pass that money over willy-nilly because I am a working man. But yeah, you know, most of my fish are, I'm really lucky, to be honest. I seem to like listen to people and select very good tozai, which goes into the pond and comes out quite expensive. But apparently in the pond, I've got some fish there now, probably valued hovering about 10 grand. Apparently, that's not from my eyes, but that's, you know, they do grow, don't they? And like buy them cheap, grow them expensive. That's my philosophy, really.
Very nice. Jason, just referring back to his Sankey, it's female, mate. You've hit every possible jackpot with that one, and that's just a fish that I think even there, that's a fish realistically now. Buying that, you'd be talking probably 2-3 grand's worth quite easily. And just for anybody who tuned in a bit later, we are talking about this Sankey before and after there from the Secret Sankey event. And yeah, now on the right, 49 cm, phenomenal thing. You've hit the Lee Hadfield jackpot on that one, to be fair, mate.
Yeah, lucky.
Mega fish, mega fish. Right, next question. Let's have a look. How's your yellow monkey doing, mate, by the way?
Dude, you are going to be so gutted when you see that thing. It's up to 60 cm now, I think, 59 or 60 cm.
Yeah.
And the body on it is, well, it's as big as my thigh.
I've got 2 left on site now, and I don't own either of them. And they're both due to leave me soon as well. And yeah, it's good. I've seen
from the same batch.
I've seen the other ones today that Crafty stole off me at some point, and that hurt me. It's terrible.
Are they from the same batch, are they?
Yeah.
What size are they up to now?
I've got a Sansai that's about 70 cm that I've been growing for Sunnybank.
Right.
And that was last year's batch.
Well, the one I've got is it not Nisai?
Yours was last year's batch from what I can remember.
Yeah, Nisai, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was yours coming my small batch last year. This bigger one I had was one I bought the individual bits out of the auction that they they bled me for.
Yeah, no, it's doing really well, and the quality of it is lovely. Do you know what I mean? Well, you know, for a Chagoi price, it's not too bad.
That Koi guy, seeing as though you ruined my football night, which seems like it's ruined now anyway, a 3-3 draw. I shouldn't really answer this, but yes is the answer. A Kogani Achiever is a metallic Achiever. Let's have a look. I've got a bit of yellow monkey to share in a minute, actually. Lee, when you put in your Tamasaba in the main pond?
Oh, don't. Do you know what, right? I got offered a Tamasaba the other day by a lovely person for Wolf, but I didn't take it up because, and we got from Marushan. So your brother and your brother paid for them, but we selected them to do like a little event or whatever. But I think they all got sold straight away because people just wanted them. But I'd love a Tama Saba, but in my pond, I think they just get pinned against the back wall, because I've got one-way flow. I don't think they'll ever get to the auto feeder.
Oh,
because they're not the most water dynamic things in the world, are they?
They really are when they get going,
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Honestly, they go like stink. They're just weird things. They don't look like they could possibly be mobile.
Yeah.
Especially not that thing of mine. I don't know how that gets upright to feed.
But what I might do is maybe buy a couple and stick it in my bio chamber.
Brilliant. Right, let's have a look what we've got here. Hey, Ollie. Would you ever consider planning a koi enthusiast trip to Japan? I myself would love to go, but wouldn't know where to start. Wouldn't get the access you were granted.
Do you know what? Honestly, I did mention that to at Sushi, to be honest. Obviously, I've got my international driving license now. So, I actually know the mountains quite well now. So I could probably just drive a minibus behind your brother at Sushi and just do a little bit of a tour around. Yeah. I don't know, on a busy October harvest time, I'm not quite sure how happy the breeders would be to have 15 people trudging around in the koi house, because they do get quite pissed off, don't they? Like when it's overwhelmingly like a batch of dealers jump in.
Yeah.
But you can imagine, even in my business, I've got a tattoo shop. When there's more than one come in at a time, I actually get a bit of a sad on. I'm like, no, wait your turn, just go out.
Not everybody is all that respectful when they're in there either.
They're not. No, they're not. No. I've noticed that, especially. Oh God, I hope there's none watching. But yeah, no, I can't mention what nationalities. But yeah, some are a little bit more boisterous than others.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Some of the like the Thai people and Malaysian people, they're quite necky, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just different cultures, I guess, which have got different levels of.
When it's all in a fish house, and some of them are dead small, aren't they? And it does get overwhelming.
Very overwhelming, yeah. And there's bloody there's.
That's the issue now. On as the day back in the day, we'd go nowhere without an appointment.
Well, that's the best way.
And I like Ulysses, I tend to stay away from places where I know it's a free for all the time, and just make my appointments, go and try and avoid the crowds.
Yeah. I was in the car with Evo and we were having a spin around, and we went past Terrazzo and there was an event going on there. Mate, a joke. Mate, there was more people in the koi house than there was fish. I'm telling you now.
Crazy.
Right? And I was like, oh God, I filmed for a little bit. I said, but let's just get out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it takes the magic away, really. Do you know what I mean?
That is something, and that's been happening, and it's happening more and more. Every year passes, these few keep joining this lucky draw circuit and things like that. They have to, because then you realize why they do it. They have got so much pressure on them from everybody wanting the first pick. Or the best fish, and if they break that process and just give it to somebody, they do that for one person and upset 49 others.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen this shit playing out. Honestly, it's like a lot of breeders. One particular breeder, I won't mention him, but he won't allow most agents or dealers to post fish they buy from him on Facebook. He'll explicitly say no Facebook, because if they go one day and get fish from him, all that happens is you end up within 20 minutes of seeing a post, every other agent in Japan on the phone to him. Why haven't I got any? Why haven't I got any?
Yeah.
Our customers have been on to us. Now we're on to you. And it's just a shit show.
That's the one thing I liked about Hiroi, is that you used to have one of the agents, I'm not going to mention who it is, but you know you are, and Narita would literally be parked outside Hiroi at 4 a.m. Because Hiroi, first come, first serve. None of this picking straw stuff. You know, we've had the harvest in. No, the harvest is coming in because they go out in the night and they come back in the morning with the harvest. First come, first serve. I actually like that. I know some agents were like, oh, that's just pathetic. And I'm like that. No, I think that's totally acceptable. That would, if I was an agent over there, I'd much rather me waking up at 4 a.m. and going there and picking the koi I want, putting the effort in, waking up early and being there rather than chancing pulling a straw and coming last. You know what I mean? Life is what you make it. You know what I mean? Early bird.
It is a real rat race, mate. It's crazy, really crazy. So I'm just gonna. I think this question from Lewis. Now building the 5K indoor pond. Any pointers on flow and return to maximise growth conditions? Did you go with the one directional flow in yours?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I got 4 returns all on one side of the pond.
How has it been for you? Because I still actually met some people with a bit of skepticism around this, and I think because it's been hammered. You know, tangential returns have been hammered in as a concept for so long. You know, it's just a concept that's been designed with flushing a little bit of shit to a bottom drain and pond and aesthetics over what the fish want first. So yeah, how have you found it, mate? Really,
it runs perfect.
Yeah, just
no problem at all. Yeah. So I've got turnover
at one end, air returns, get it all whacked up there. I know your shower's on the side, but ultimately it's not interfering too much.
It only tumbles, really. You know, a shower doesn't project any kind of current. It just makes a bit of turbulence on one side. But I've got so my pond is 5,000 gallons, so it's internally is 5 meters by 2.5 meters by 1.6 deep or something like that. But it works out dead on 5,000 gallons. I got 4 returns all on one side. I've got 2 returns in the center, which is about 2 foot under the surface, and then 2 on the ends, which is 2 foot above the bottom. Okay, to give it like a bit of an all-round flow. The 2 bottom drains in the middle, the skimmer in the center at the very end. And what flow have I got? So I've got 30,000. So the whole of the pond goes through the drum every hour, but only half of the volume of the pond goes through the bio every 2 hour. So that's got the retention time of 2 hours in the bio chamber, which is on its own 5.5. I think it's 550 gallons, and I've got 750 liters of K1 in there.
Nice.
And it runs like a charm. There's nothing. If I do get a little bit of build up just on one corner, it's gone straight away. You know, the fish, because it's where I actually feed. So when my auto feeder is feeding, I feed in such a way that when the sinking pellet goes down, the fish are mooching around there and it's just gone. I don't get any problems at all. Nothing at all.
No, there we go. And your fish seem to be doing well on it, mate, as well. So, Sam, Hyrick, you're looking to get a Chagoi soon, a £1,000 budget. What would your advice be for me at that price bracket? What can I expect? Yeah, so at that kind of money, I'm not too sure. You know, it's a long time since I bought big Chagoi, but you might get away in the sort of 3-year-old realm at Marihiro, Marido, Marasei, I should imagine. Should possibly do it for you there. Female, it's just picking your preference really on breeder. Marihiro, I have really liked Marihiro Chagoi. They've got an exceptional bone structure to them. And a lot of people do prefer Marido. Not a big fan of the Marido Chagoi. And then, Lee's vanished. There we go. And then, obviously Marasei. And there's Marasei's colour is that typical greeny colour. Marido's a little bit more darker brown in colour typically. So it really depends what you're looking for from the fish, Sam, as to regards to what breeder you go to. And whether you'll be looking at sort of Nisai, big Nisai or Sansai. Don't worry about the size being too big for the age, because Chagoi will just grow big amounts consistently each year. They don't need to be whomping great big Nisai or Sansai for where they're at. So hope you find that useful. And again, I think we can both comment on this, Lee. So with the row between China and Japan, China imposing import ban, will this be an advantage to the UK? Actually, getting fish into China has been an issue since last year. And has it made any difference? Nope. It did a little bit back then, but Japan was heaving this year again. Absolutely heaving. The scraps were on for all the fish. It just never really changes for them guys, regardless of what's going on in the bigger world. The bubble of the koi world seems to just keep going. And I think the bit that probably does get affected the most, which is not related to any of this, is the cheaper market, really. Maybe cheaper Nisai that doesn't do so well. But it's just really not. Them guys are still just selling out and farming fish out the door. Something crazy, because ultimately if one buyer drops out, others just step up. That's how it is. So yeah, madness.
So on that note, actually, I was talking to one of my main men over there, Shigeru from Danichi, and we were with Eva. We were talking about, are you worried about because obviously the Chinese export now, the main guy has lost the license, isn't he? And he goes, no, it's okay, because I know there's someone else just about to get the license. So it was just in the court at the time. But Shigeru from the Danichi Koi farm, he didn't care. He goes, oh no, it's going to go from one to another. So that's, if he doesn't care, I don't think anyone in China is going to care, because they're going to get their fish.
And there's still big Chinese buyers out there, because they're not all shipping fish back. A lot just want to buy it to compete, so it stays at the farm anyway. So it's only the export side, and that bit never struggles, because as soon as one drops out, another one just fills the gap. It's crazy. So right, last bit of appreciation to end on, and it is some yellow monkey appreciation, because I really do.
I love a monkey.
So we sold one on our live auction earlier this year. It was around the end of April, including growing. And I can't remember all my facts and figures here. We'll see in a minute. It was about 33 cm or something like that at the time of selling it. I'd already grown that from a 15 centimeter toe size to that point. This one had just excelled through phenomenally well. And it was harvest time for this one. So you can see there 33 cm, 25th of the 4th. And that was it last week. 55 cm, that was. 18 months old now, and male as well. Absolute powerhouse. Really, really is. That body's just going to keep going and going. No matter what environment that's in, hot, cold, whatever it is, that fish is not going to stop. And just thinking there, that was 22 centimeters growth since the end of April. But in total, coming from 15 cm to 55 cm in just under a calendar year. Barmy things. These are the real deal. And I'm still just waiting to find out if what I've heard is true, and they're not really going to be available at the quality this year. We'll see, but I've got that on pretty good grounds, to be fair.
When I was in Danichi, they did have a few ponds of them though.
The Ginrin ones or the normal?
I'm pretty sure they were Ginrin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether they've been bought up by somewhere in Asia or something like that, but I'm if people go back, I can't remember what episode it was. I'm absolutely sure there was yellow monkey there. But I could be wrong.
They weren't happy with the colour on this year's spawning, because they're on about the black Zeus as well, and that's sort of failed to progress to second generation, which is devastating, because I've got them coming on insane at the minute. But just share that with you one more time. So let's say started off 15 cm and to 55 within the calendar year. 33 cm there up to 55, and again, one very, very happy owner, and I'm just very happy to have delivered that for him, really, like with the Sankey. Great future ahead of it. So there we go. Nice variety there, mate. Thank you very much for your time, Lee.
Oh, anytime. No problem.
And good to catch up, mate.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. Well, I'll be popping up at some point anyway. As soon as I've got 2 fish up at your brother's. As soon as they're out of QT, we'll have a night in the herbalist.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lee. And I'll be back next week.